Okay, ladies, we're halfway through 2025. So, real talk, are you just surviving or are you ready to ascend? If you're craving accountability, community, and a life that actually feels aligned, this is your sign. Ascend is the mastermind for bold women ready to finish this year on fire and step into 2026 more authentic, more intentional, and more on purpose than ever before. We're only bringing in 20 kick-ass women. So if your soul is screaming, holy shit, this is for me, listen up. Head to episode 146 of Ladies Kickin' Ass podcast for all the juicy details. And check the show notes for the webinar replay link that breaks it all down. Remember, from the wise words of my favorite mentor, Trent Shelton, you are a choice away from a new beginning and a commitment away from a new life. Now let's dive into the episode.
Welcome to Ladies Kickin' Ass, the no BS podcast for fierce, unstoppable women in the service industry. We're here to talk bold moves, big wins, and real talk on what it takes to build a life and a business you love. Let's get fired up. Hi, badasses. Welcome back to part 2 of this amazing marketing conversation that we're having today. I have my guest, Heidi Hooker, with me today. She is our marketing genius at HomeField On-Site Environmental. We are going to dive into this episode and talk about finding your dream clients and what we do in order to try to find those people. With the new rebrand, we're finding some really awesome new ways to reach out. There's AI, you can leverage social media. We're thinking outside the box of traditional marketing things that you're like, oh yeah, we just do AdWords and we do social media ads and we send out postcards. Tell us some of the things that you have been working on in gaining more of our ideal clients at HomeField.
So one of the things that we're doing is we are highly involved in the Gilbert Chamber of Commerce. Sorry, take that back. Queen Creek Chamber of Commerce. And I think it's going to these networking events and meeting people who you might not even use their services for, as a business, but just meeting people as an individual, connecting with them. And if they have a referral or ever need a referral, they can, say, hey, I know somebody that does that. We're kind of in their back pocket. But it's connecting with the other business owners, like as people come into the chamber as, a restaurant owner, they just opened up. It's being able to go to those events, go to their restaurants. That's one thing that's super cool, that they put on is they'll have like a luncheon there. So you can go, you can get to connect with the people, but you get to connect with the owners, on a personal level. There was one not too long ago where I found out the owners were from South Dakota. So that's where I'm from. Had a little conversation about that. And then they remember that, and it's almost like they're using a friend for the service. So that's huge. Yes. Those personal connections, again, I think are the biggest thing because word of mouth is really, truly your number one thing that you can get.
Yes. And people think sometimes, well, there's nobody there that I would really partner with in business. This is where I kind of struggled at first when I was looking at joining a BNI group, is I was like, okay, so what is the doTERRA oils lady going to do for me in here? Because it was really heavy in kind of MLM people that were in it. I'm not kidding you. That woman was so connected. Like she sent us this huge, like $5,000 like repipe job, like a couple weeks after I met her.
Oh, wow. Because
she knew a property manager in Apache Junction and it was a commercial deal. And she just gave them our number and they just called for a price and was like, okay, great, let's do it.
That's awesome.
Like totally random. And I always use that as an example because when she came up and started talking to me, I had this mindset of like, no, I don't do the oils.
She's going to sell you. Yeah.
Like I'm going to smell like frankincense and myrrh when I leave here. Like I just had that idea in my head. And it's very much an assumption of this is how this conversation's going to go.
Right.
So I think it's really important just being open to stuff. And I think chambers are a great way to get in and meet so many amazing people in the community. And really, we're all there for the same reason, to support and learn from one another, through business. You can make some really great friends through that as well.
Yeah.
I've met some incredible people through networking events that have become personal friends of mine now, not even just people that I do business with.
Yeah, and another one I've noticed too, is new businesses open, whether or not it's something that someone we would service, but going to ribbon cuttings and, just welcoming them into the chamber, into the community, letting them know who you are, and just connecting with them on even just a personal level. I think that's super cool. And those are one of the events that, you want support at, but a lot of people don't go to those because they're like, it's just a ribbon cutting. But it's so big to them that just showing even a little bit of support, they remember that.
Oh, sure. This is like the launch of their dream.
Right.
That's like being there when your baby's born. A business baby, though. What are some other ways you find that have been really beneficial to make good connections with people and drive in those ideal clients?
So I think another thing is just going down a spiral on social media, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just scrolling through, seeing what's new, seeing the people that connecting with other people, finding restaurants in your area, even the new chamber ones that don't have a ribbon cutting or, you're not able to go into or whatever, but just sending a personalized message saying, hey, this is who I am, would love to, chat sometime, and just maybe not even doing it as an introduction as a business, but as people, getting to know them, because you don't want to just come in hot, selling them right off the bat. They're going to be like, whoa, this is too much.
Sure.
So it's just kind of getting to know them, reading the room, so to speak, and understanding what to do to make a connection with them, and then establishing that business connection. So I think that's super cool to do. Meeting people at any kind of networking events. We have a ladies one coming up that we're all going to, all of us ladies in the office, in April. So that'll be really fun. Someone that I might meet might not be a person that you might connect with or have anything in common. So I think it's just, everybody kind of being able to be part of it and seeing who they can reach.
Yes. I think you hit a good point there. A lot of times in smaller businesses, I think sometimes even with service businesses, we get in this funk of the owner has to be the one that goes out and does these things. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Lots of times when I go, it's you can tell he or she is the owner. They're tired as hell. They don't want to be there. They kind of just grab a drink or a cocktail and sit at a table. They're not super talky. They've been doing a whole bunch of stuff all day, Right. Get your team involved in it. It doesn't always have to be the owner that is showing up at this. If you have somebody that answers your phones, take her with you to one of these events. Mm-hmm. Take her with you so she can see the way you talk to people, and then allow her the time and freedom to be able to go to those by herself.
Right.
Or to seek out other things that maybe you haven't been to before. I love being able to do that with you. We go to things. The way you and I describe things are different and are going to hit different with different people. I may know people. You may know other people that I don't know. We can make a connection even there. That's so cool. So it's really awesome to involve your team in that. Plus, I think it gives great ownership of the employees or the team members to be able to go out and represent the business. When people want to go out and represent HomeField, I feel so flattered by that because people want to go.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I think that's great, how we're our family there too,
Yeah.
So that's super cool. It's I do like these people, so I'm okay with hanging with them outside of work. But then it's one of those where she trusts me enough to go represent the business. She knows that I'm going to do a good job and I'm not going to, completely get drunk somewhere at a happy hour, thing and just make a fool out of the company. So it's having that trust and having that pride in who I'm representing. I think that's super important too.
Yeah, so important, so important. So this is kind of an area that I would consider outreach marketing. So you're kind of reaching out, you're seeing who you can mix and mingle with, you're really trying to feel for leads and talk to people. We have worked really hard inside of the business as well to be able to put together little guides, if you will, that we can send to people that is an overall guide. For example, we have one that's called the Septic System 411 Guide.
Yep.
And that has been sent to so many people, but it really is just a step-by-step, very simple graphical. It's almost like an infographic PDF, download that talks about how does a septic system work? What the hell does a septic tank look like? What is a disposal field? How big does it need to be? How should I take care of it? But it's just information. It's a value add.
Right.
And I think it's so important that people think about stuff like that inside of their business, because just like you were talking about, great, I welcome a new restaurant into the business. We are designing a new grease trap 411. So it can be sent out as a congratulations on opening your new restaurant. We would love to be your source or your resource for grease trap pumping services should you ever have any questions. Here's our free guide. We hope that you find value in this. And it's something that you're reaching out to them and providing value to them. You're not asking them for business. You're wishing them well. Right. And here's some education.
And they're going to remember that, because who out there is taking it to the next level like HomeField is and really providing that value? It's not something that's required. It's just that extra touch of what we want to do, to, like you said, to educate people. It's so important.
Yes. And it really has to happen to differentiate yourself. In the home service business, I think oftentimes consumers are like, where can I get the best deal?
Yeah.
Septic pumping is the same with this guy as it is with this guy. And it's through that education that you're like, you shouldn't be pumping it through this 2-inch port that's taking the water out of your tank. You should actually be opening it up to a 24-inch manhole. Let me show you the Slurpee effect, Yeah. And then they're like, oh, wait a minute. No one's ever showed me this before. Instant credibility with somebody. Because that's a hell of a lot more work than it is to, suck it out through the straw.
And you realize are they cutting corners? Okay, this isn't being done right. So why am I going to pay for a half-ass service?
Yes, they won't use half-ass services anymore.
Exactly.
And we don't half-ass anything.
Yeah, we want to set that standard in the industry to be like, this is the way it needs to be done.
Yes. Oh, so good. So some of the things that sometimes people think I don't know, with the advent of the internet and all this digital and social media, do you really need to put road signs out still? Tell us what we do besides, networking and being fabulous and teaching people stuff and showing up every day on social media. What else are we doing?
So another thing that I do, I actually keep a whole fat chunk of business cards in my purse. So if I'm out somewhere and I see community boards, those I've had people say they don't work. Nobody reads those. Well, I read them, so I'm somebody. But I, throw a couple cards on there. Mm-hmm. I mean, I keep them for your podcast. I keep them for my husband's business. So anytime I overhear something, even I can be like, well, hey, here's the card for that. And like you said, road signs. We actually hire some young teenagers that are part of Tanya's family, and they go out and they want to work. They want to put those signs out because it gives them, some responsibility, and they're able to earn some money doing it. But it helps us because we have people call in. They'll say, hey, I saw your sign, the corner of whatever, and they book a pumping with us. Mm-hmm. So that's super cool. Great return on investment, because one job just paid for all your signs.
Yeah, for 100 of them.
So super good with that. So it's the unconventional things, that nobody's really doing, or just that you don't think about. You're like, where can I, make my presence known? Mm-hmm. That's in an unconventional way. I think it's really going to depend on, your market, who you're trying to target again with that ideal customer. There might be even home shows we want to get into, because as we've been to them and talked to people, there is no one doing these things.
Not in our industry. And go just peruse them. We went to the last home show and we were like, hell, we're just going to go figure it out. Let's go talk to people. If anything, we'll go talk to the plumbing companies and we'll give them our information so that, they'll know a septic company, which was so crazy because we've done jobs for the one plumbing company that we talked to. I've reached out to almost everybody we got business cards that day with. I've heard back from none of them. But then that company called us and had us come out and do a pumping service for them, which is so interesting. But there was even a guy that builds metal shops. And he's like, we put septic tanks in all the time for these, That wasn't even somebody that I would have thought to reach out to, because I would assume that a contractor would buy those kits from the guys that
Right.
designed them, and they would be putting them up. But they actually offer the contracting, like the building services. And so they were very interested, in just talking. And even if it's a swap of stuff, you've now got a name and an email and a phone number that you can put into your customer management system, and you can start marketing to them.
Exactly. You can send them some emails, get them on that list. And like they say, it takes people about 7 times to see your name or to hear about your service before it sticks with them.
Sure.
So I feel like just showing up in multiple ways to those same companies, at some point, they're going to be like, I need you.
Yes. Oh, yes. So good. So good. So some other little things too that I would love to talk about is AI. Let's start there, because people say, you've got to integrate AI into your business. How are you using ChatGPT or any AI powered things inside of the business to help you with your marketing efforts?
So I'll admit, I was one of those don't know, AI, not sure how that can help me. Like, is it going to replace me? Okay, no, it's never going to replace me because AI can't do what I do, But I think it's helpful in the days that I think with any content creator, you're going to be like sitting there just staring at your computer like, I've got no ideas. I've done everything. When obviously we know that's not true, but we just have that mental block. So I think, just going in there and say, hey, I'm a content creator, and it'll get to know you, of course, but I'm a content creator for HomeField. I'm blanking and I need some help coming up with some super engaging, fun content. Like, give me 10 days worth of content on stuff that I could post, which is great because then you're like, okay, I didn't think of that. You can repurpose things at that point, or you can, have them come up with different posts for you. It can give you your captions, whatever you need. And you can ask it for the trending and relevant hashtags too, which is super helpful because you're like, I don't know what to hashtag this. Hashtag HomeField. Like you blank sometimes. So I think it's super helpful in getting some content ideas. And of course, it's one of those, it's never going to be perfect in my opinion, but you got to check it and make sure it's providing the right information. There's blogs that we put out. We put out 2 blogs a week, residential, commercial, and I don't want to keep being, a broken record and repeating everything. So you're like, take this blog that I wrote on, septic tank pumping. How long does septic tank pumping take? You can have them rewrite it into HomeField voice, of course, just kind of spin it a little, make it new, make it fresh, just give it some commands on things to do. So that's super helpful, but it's also time saving because you're not just sitting there in front of the computer trying to write a blog, for an hour and just not getting anywhere with it.
Sure. Yeah. What used to take us an hour takes us 20 seconds.
Yes. So super helpful in that aspect.
Yes. It's so good. And I know there's a lot of advent in like even phone systems that are AI generation. I know we use a program called CallRail where it actually will listen to the phone calls that come in and it will rate them, whether it was like a mad call, a neutral call, a happy call. And you can actually command it with like trigger words. So like we require a credit card to be on file when they book the job. So if it says credit card or if it says blue stake, because we have to mark for utilities, those two in combination or one or the other, it will qualify it as a thumbs up as if we booked the job.
And which is super helpful in understanding what's working and what's not.
Yes. And it's also, there are some great things where like owners or managers used to sit and listen to phone calls forever.
And
or
I know you don't have time for that.
No, or didn't. That's me. Didn't listen to them. So call quality was never something people are like, well, when do you listen to phone calls? I'm like, you're supposed to do that? Like, I just assume they're doing a great job. Like the schedule's full.
Yeah.
It sounds great. But it's really cool to go back in there because it literally will like give you a paraphrase of what it looks like, what they talked about. It will also say what the pros were and opportunities that you can use to coach the CSR that's on the phones. And also even an email that sums up the conversation that you can copy and paste and immediately email out to the customer you just talked to. Like, how badass is that?
I mean, it saves you time. It helps with further training purposes. Like, where is something we might be lacking or that we're not even realizing? Because, I mean, our phones ring constantly. So we're constantly saying the same things over and over, but we might forget things. So I feel like that's super helpful in, okay, where can we, you know, pick up a little bit, or what do we need to modify to, you know, make it more valuable for the customer or save us time and save their time.
Yes. So AI can be your friend. Use it how you wish, but definitely in content creation. I mean, it's crazy not to do that. Plus, you can teach it. Like, you can teach it to talk in your voice.
And help you send emails.
Yes. It's, oh, yes. Yeah.
Just sometimes when you're not sure how to
anymore.
It's funny because sometimes you're like, oh gosh, like how I mean it is, you know, it's not coming across that way. Yeah. You're like, make this less bitchy sounding. Or, you know, like you want to, you know, politely decline a service, but it just comes off sounding so horrible. You're like, I don't really know. I need a little assistance on that. So I feel like that has been super helpful a couple times because, I mean, people that know me, they know how I talk, and that's not exactly what I mean sometimes. So it's helpful in that aspect of making you sound, you know, a little nicer with that.
Yes. I'm going to give you a great example on this one. We had a customer last week that everyone wished was not our customer. That's the nice way I'm going to say this. He was a literal dick. I'm just going to say it. And he said so many nasty things about one of our very best and most polite technicians because he was frustrated that his job did not go well or that they were unable to find this tank. He left the nastiest review. And normally I have to step away for 24 hours because to me, that's like slapping one of my children. Like, it just pisses me off. Like, Mama Bear comes out big time. And I was like, you know what? I just copied and pasted what he'd put in there. I copied and pasted what the technician's notes were. Also, what the CSR's notes were about him being a jerk to her when he called in to book the service, and said, please respond to this. Firm but fair is my favorite thing. So it came back with an incredible response, which I went in and kind of tweaked it a little bit with stuff. And even when it came out, I was like, okay, you got to put this a little bit more in my voice.
Right.
And because I use it so often, it's like, fair enough. And it kind of came back and rewrote it again. And I posted it. And that guy took that review down in like, what, 10 minutes?
I think less than 10 minutes.
Yeah. So it's an incredible tool. I'm not telling you you're going to get your shitty reviews removed by using it.
But it was just well crafted. Yeah. It was well crafted in the sense that it made it, you know, I think him take a step back and realize, okay, yeah, I was being a dick and I wasn't being fair because it didn't go my way.
Sure.
And, you know, his lack of facts and everything. I think it just, you know, really also showed how much you reinforced, you know, the services we provide, and that none of our people would be doing that because we know how to treat people and we would never treat someone like that.
Yeah.
So it definitely was a good tool in that aspect.
It's a great tool. It's, you know, I find myself escalating from like super happy to like, am I crying because I'm mad or because I'm sad? I don't know. Kind of a little bit of both. So it's a great tool to be able to use that. Something new that we're going to try too with this new glow up that we have just done with HomeField is we're going to start doing more video.
Yes.
With our people that are inside of the business. And we have come up with a few different things that we're going to load as if it's like a podcast show onto our website and onto our YouTube. But it's just going to be little snippets of conversations with our technicians.
That'll be super fun.
It'll be so fun. Tech Talk. So anybody could use that in their industry. Yep. Even just sitting down, we have like super funny. I can't wait to do this with Isaac. They're going to be 15-minute long videos for sure because he's going to tell every nuance of the story. But it's so freaking funny when he does it. And it's so cool because not only are we making these videos to put on YouTube, it's showing the personality and who HomeField East Valley is, but it's giving you a shit ton of content to use for social media. It's building just awareness and education and everything with it. And so we've built this little cave area inside of one of the offices, and it's just going to be super cool. So, I mean, even this thinking out of the box, like how many people that are in the septic industry have their own podcast?
I think none.
None. So that's going to be a really, really cool. Actually, I think there's one lady that does. I'm going to give it because I saw her. I went to her class at the wet show. But nobody is thinking like, who's going to listen to the septic stuff? It's not even necessarily just about the septic stuff. It's like what we talked about with the social media stuff. You know, everybody isn't watching Jesus Juice because they're into septic systems.
They want to see the gross behind the scenes, like literal shit. Like people live for that for some reason. That's like the whole satisfying thing. Like Dr. Pimple Popper, disgusting.
Oh my gosh, it's so gross.
It's so gross.
Look away.
But people are satisfied. Exactly. Kind of like when the guys are up there, you know, they're breaking up that shit in the septic tank. You're like, oh, but you want to know how it ends.
Yeah,
and
you're like, are they wearing this when they come out or not?
Exactly. And you want the technicians, you know, hearing, I think Isaac's stories are going to be insane. Like people are going to be like, does it really happen? It does. It does. It does.
Yep. And it's going to be cool, too, because then we can flash a little photo at the end of it. So when they're talking about the 12-foot root they pulled out of the sewer line.
We got proof.
Here it is. So just even thinking outside of the box with stuff like that, just little tidbits of stuff, but it's also really goes and aligns with the mission of HomeField and what we want to do for other septic business owners and helping them elevate their brand or even swapping over and becoming part of HomeField and just showing like we really do care about not only other septic professionals, and we're willing to help share our secrets or what we actually do. I say secrets in air quotes if you're not watching this, because it's really just consistency, making a plan and being consistent about it. That's the secret sauce. But it really is like showing even people that are interested in coming into septic. Oh, I didn't think about that. Or even people that run pest control or landscaping or pool cleaning companies that they're like, hey, I could implement that in my business.
Exactly.
And they don't have a lot of time. So we want to make it just little tiny tidbits of stuff that we can really showcase the faces and the people behind our business, but also help bring that just higher reputation, that level of excellence into the business by helping people with our example and with our experience. So I'm super looking forward to that. Is there anything in closing that you think would be super fun to do to market a service business that we haven't tried yet?
Oh gosh, that we haven't tried yet. I don't know. Like I have this whole list in my office of different things. Like, okay, what do we want to do? Because, you know, you and I, we sit there and we text things back and forth. We're like, ooh, this video would be cool to do. That video would be cool to do. But I really think like I've reached out to a couple of realtors and even like including them in videos, I think, and just, you know, people that are known in the community, just kind of teaming up, doing videos like that, I think is going to be something that I want to work towards and kind of just grow those relationships that way, but also they can use the content, we can use the content, and everybody's kind of helping everybody.
Yes. And it's just funny things. Take inspiration, like the one that you sent me this morning. It was like how the business owner shows up and they think it's like they come and someone takes your coat and gives you
hands
coffee,
you a stack of money,
hands you an envelope of cash. Sometimes Lauren does that. It's awesome. No.
But she's also got like 20 bags on her arms.
But I'm like, can you stick it in my pocket? Because I can't hold anything. But the guy came in and he was like carrying like a mini fridge or something, like trying to come through the door.
Nobody's getting the door for him. Yeah. So just the struggles.
I'm like the crazy person with my 50 bags every day. But my team's awesome enough to help me with the door.
We hear the door. We hear a little bit of rustling. We know it's her. Come help.
But it's just funny things like that. Put the personality behind it, you know? I just think that it's so cool. It's relatable.
Yeah, and I think showing the owner, I mean, there's some owners that just don't want to be, you know, in anything, which I get it. That's fine if that works for them. But I think just showing the owners so they can know, like, even more that we're a woman-owned business. Like, people love that because so many women are like, I trust another woman because I know that someone, you know, reasonable and trustworthy is going to be coming into my home. So I just think showing, you know, your face is really important, but also enough that she trusts us to have everyone on the team be in those videos.
Sure. Yes. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I'm very excited for what we're going to create this year. So excited. There's so much. And it almost makes me, I'm such a baby. I cry on this every time, but it's so emotional because it's so exciting to me. Yeah. Like there is no limit to what you can do if you want to be like wildly creative and make really cool content for your business. You know, like just get on TikTok for an hour with your teenager tonight and you will have a bajillion ideas of how you can swing that and make that happen. So we all need to hire a teenager to be our video editor for social media.
They could teach me things.
So that we can put some more of those things out. But video is really important, just getting your team's voice and everything in there. Thank you so much for this conversation. It's been so fun. And I know that we're going to continue to do a lot of different things here with Ladies Kicking Ass, and also through our HomeField little tech talks and everything else that we come up with. We'll obviously plug in things about marketing and different things and programs that we're using for business. And we just really want to be able to give back to the service community as a whole, and be a mentor for anybody that's starting a business there. We just really need more people in the trades. And I think oftentimes they get overwhelmed with what that means to own a business. So if we can help them by way of running a septic business and talking about it, I think it would be really cool to do that. So thank you for helping me get all of that stuff together. And we didn't do this at the end of the last podcast, so we're going to do it on this one because at the end of every podcast, I love to hear how the phrase ladies kicking ass really fits into their life. This one is really awesome for me because I feel like you've been around since the very beginning of all of this stuff. Heidi actually worked with me in my junk removal company that I had as well. She came to interview for a priority pumping job. I hired her for a junk right job, and then she came back to priority pumping, and then she moved, and then she came back again.
It's been a wild ride.
So we've been together for a long time, and I was so excited when you came back and you wanted to come back. I offered her a job before she even asked for a job. So I was so excited for that. But you've been able to see the things that we've been able to grow with priority pumping. You've been able to see the things take off with Ladies Kicking Ass. You've been so instrumental in like getting PR for myself and for the team and for the business. And
which, quick shout out to Mike Rowe. We're coming for you.
yeah, Mike Rowe. Anybody got hookups with Mike Rowe? We would like to be connected. He's the GOAT for the podcast, so we got to figure that one out. But I just thank you so much for your support.
It's my pleasure. I mean, I love being a part of it, and you're so awesome. So
thank you. So when you hear the phrase ladies kicking ass, what does that mean to you in your life?
I think it means just really showing up as who you are, not apologizing like I used to be. Surprisingly, to some people, they don't find it, especially my husband. He can tell you. I used to be so quiet, kind of unsure. But I think once you find your voice and like what industry you're supposed to be in or what you're supposed to be doing, or even just the people that bring out, you know, that person in you, I just think it's really digging down, finding that person and just doing the damn thing, like showing up and just not apologizing for it.
Yes.
Getting it done.
Get the shit done.
Exactly.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. I love you to pieces. And until next time, keep kicking ass.
That's a wrap, ladies. Now go out there, own the hell out of your dreams, and keep kicking ass. Want to keep this fire going? Connect with us on social. All the links are in the show notes. And if you're ready for a sisterhood that levels up life and business, be sure to check out Badass Inner Circle. Stay bold, stay fierce, and be unapologetically you. I'll catch you on the next episode. Let's do this.